Nice work, George.
Winter change into spring. Oh, what change will it bring? Longer days and weather warm. I can't wait till the storm blows away.
My name is George. I'm a Flycraft ambassador. For the last couple of days, we've been out on my home waters in central Pennsylvania fishing the Susquehanna River. It's kind of my home water. It's kind of what I like to do when I'm not guiding or traveling out west. As much as I enjoy trout fishing, there's something really fun and enjoyable for me to kind of escape from that trout world and dive more into the warm water world. And that's kind of what we've been doing here. We've had kind of difficult conditions. We've had high water, dirty water, but what we're doing is just chasing one of my favorite species, smallmouth bass, on the fly, along with some muskie.
So I've known George since the early 2000s. George was a student at Lock Haven University, which is where I teach, and he came through our rec department. And so he got into fly fishing when he was young, obviously, but I think the outdoor rec program gave him an opportunity to go and explore the fly fishing world to a greater extent, and that kind of started his career. Nice work, George.
One of the things really that draws me to my home waters in central Pennsylvania is the diversity. Again, I love the West, I love the trout fishing, but one of the things I think I miss when I go out west is the ability to not only just catch trout, but also going after other species, even like panfish, bass, muskie, even pickerel. What's so cool about where I live is within a 25 to 30 minute drive, I have world-class trout fishing, and then I also have some excellent smallmouth fishing along with some muskie fishing. So because of that and the diversity and the way I can kind of mix things up and not get stuck in just one groove all the time, that's what kind of keeps me here and kind of stationed here in central Pennsylvania.
We're out here on probably one of my newfound, kind of like new favorite locations on the Susquehanna River. This was a section of river that when my wife and I went to school, just literally on the other side of the hill here, it was dead, like pollution, lots of acid mine drainage on the upstream headwater streams, had aluminum, lots of copper. So this section was deader than a doornail. So we're here like 25 years later, and we're catching a bunch of little panfish and some little smallmouth bass. So it's kind of really cool with all the efforts that we've been seeing with groups like Trout Unlimited, the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission, DEP, and other watershed organizations, that we actually have a pretty viable warm water resource. So kind of enjoying it right now. Logan's been fishing with me since probably age 4, when he probably caught his first fish on a fly. Actually, we started out fly fishing on our local waters. He's made a handful of Western trips with me, really got into it, and then maybe about 2 years ago, when sports and the opposite sex became part of his life, he started doing a little bit less. And then, what was it, probably like this year, some of your buddies were fishing on the baseball team, and all of a sudden it became the cool thing to do again. So we got him back, at least for a little bit, fishing. So it's been great to be able to spend time with Logan, watch him kind of evolve as a young man, and get him on the water as much as we can.
George asked me to go fishing with him one time, and I never fly fished. So I said, sure, and I went with him, and I kind of just watched him fish for hours, and it was just something that I was really attracted to as far as a whole new way of trying to catch fish. So that's kind of how George and I got started, and then we've been doing this ever since. So trying to travel around with him when I can, and just enjoy our time on the water together. Those of you that know George know that he's pretty quiet, but I think some of the best stories I've had when he gets super frustrated and he gets super mad at himself. But I think all of our adventures together, just watching him fish, he's a great angler, he knows what he's doing. I've learned a ton from George, and I feel privileged to have the honor to fish with him on a regular basis.
Low and slow. I know where your daddy and your grandfather is. When people talk about poppers, they're always talking about like putting the fly in the water and like popping it. Like that is definitely a good technique in some situations, but it seems like the larger fish that we're after, especially in like these calm flats, often the best approach is just kind of letting it cast, settle. You'll see as soon as the fly lands, like a ripple effect. And basically, I've read they call it basically let it marinate, but once you make the cast, let the ripples dissipate, and then once the ripples dissipate, then all you're gonna do is just kind of just basically move the rod tip just enough to kind of move the fly a little bit, create another little wake of emotion, just basically enough to kind of move the legs. And once you do that, just kind of just let it drift. But this is very similar to like dry fly fishing. You're just kind of just casting, you're drifting your popper more than actively moving the popper, and that just tends to be a far more effective tool with these larger fish. Little shits, where are your grandparents?
Nice work, George.
Yeah, we're fishing in the kindergarten spot right now.
I was traveling through the country, golden sunset at my back, and when nighttime overtook me, I found a place to hang my hat. I walked in through the front door, the smell of cigarettes and paint. That's when I first set my eyes on the yellow rose of Santa Fe. She was dancing with no music, she was floating in the air, and all the while that precious flower stayed between her strands of hair. I asked if she'd ever been lonely.
Nice work, George.
One of the things I think is most important for you to grow as an angler is to kind of find someone that you can fish with on a regular basis that kind of pushes you to the next level. And one of the things I really enjoy about fishing with Brian is Brian by training is a coach. Basically, he's like a weightlifting coach who worked for Michigan State for a number of years and now is teaching at a local university on weight training and physical fitness. But one of the things I like about Brian, fishing with Brian, is he kind of pushes me mentally. I become a little more mentally tough. We have fished together for the last 20 years, and we have encountered some of the most brutal conditions. Even going a couple months ago down in the White River in Arkansas when we're just dealing with just horrendous conditions. But being able to find someone that no matter what the conditions are, all they're going to say is, let's just make the best situation, hit it hard, no matter if we have downpour, if we have dirty water, if we have torrential rain, if we have a snowstorm, 40 mile an hour winds. That's one of the things I really enjoy. And finding a good fishing buddy in many cases is often a big challenge for most people. So I've been very fortunate to find someone that kind of keeps me on edge and kind of pushes me to becoming just a better angler, but also just being more mentally tough when it comes to fishing. One of the things I continue to love about the Flycraft boats and the company themselves is I have gone through, for example, like a number of chip boats, 5 actually in the last 5-6 years. And you know, with some boats, you buy some boats, sometimes they end up being too big or it's too expensive, and then you downsize and then you wish you had something. So for me, like the jet boats, it's been kind of challenging for me because I've been cycling through a bunch of boats and powered boats in the last couple of years to try to find the perfect boat. For me, with the Flycraft, with the 2-man, like once I have those boats, like I feel like I can do anything with those boats. I can put a little trolling motor on there. I can fish bigger rivers. I can take that trolling motor off. I can fish smaller rivers. I have used the Flycraft boats for virtually any water type for a number of species, East, Midwest, and then also the West Coast. And still, if I was to choose just one boat of all the amazing boats I've had, the Towies, the Hog Islands, and several aluminum boats and some drift boats, if I was still to be able to just choose one boat to fish out of for the rest of my life, it would definitely be the 2.0 Stealth.
Nice work, George.